Hello, my name is Glenda Pilon and I am the interviewer. My husband Raymond is the author of Omega and Alpha, and the purpose of this video is to let you know a little bit about ourselves and to tell you about the story. To begin, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. I was born in New York. I'm a true New Yorker, and at age 13 I lived in the home, which was a former castle, where the first film in the United States was filmed, called Birth of a Nation. So I figured that I have a little stake in the movie industry. And now, many years later, I am helping my husband to edit his movie and feel well qualified since I have a degree in English. And to top myself a little, I'm also a minister and have been a counselor for 20 years. And now I turn it over to my loving husband, Raymond, to tell about himself.
My name is Raymond Joseph Pilon. I was born in a little tiny log cabin in northern Saskatchewan, 1944. Oh, by the way, it had no floor. I failed 5 grades in school. I have an IQ of 155. I went to Simon Fraser University, got my degree in psychology. In 1887, I decided it was time to get rid of narcolepsy. I did a whole bunch of workshops and ended up on Sandy's workshop, which we'll talk in a minute. In 1981, I went to my first service at Religious Science International, and I fell in love with the metaphysical philosophy and became a minister 6 years later, and did church for 7 years. In 2009, I ended up in Costa Rica, and with a whole bunch of dreams. That's what this is all about.
Thank you, Raymond. And I'd like to just say a little bit about our relationship with Sandy. We've known Sandy for 25 years. And during that time, I took some courses from her and also got to be her friend. When we got married in 1993, my mom was deceased. So I asked Sandy if she would please give me away. She consented, and she did a marvelous job. After the wedding, I learned that she was 2 years younger than I am, so that makes her my spiritual mother that is 2 years younger than I am. Anyway, we got a good laugh about that. So do you have a favorite memory, Raymond, about Sandy?
Sandy? Oh yes, I do. In that last workshop I did with Sandy, she stood up and she screamed at me, and I mean she screamed. She said, "Raymond," she says, "you're addicted to emotional pain." And it was kind of like a bombshell went off in my head, and I realized, oh my goodness. I just, wow, okay. And woke up 2 weeks later in the middle of the night, stood straight up and realized that I hadn't had a sleep attack in 2 weeks. So I rushed to the calendar, took a look, and realized that it was the exact same day that I was in that workshop with Sandy. And then it hit me that that's when I released this incurable disease, narcolepsy. Sandy, thank you, thank you, thank you. I am deeply grateful. That's
Thank you, Raymond. And now I'm just going to ask you a little bit about Omega and Alpha. So what motivated you to write this story?
Dreams. I had so many dreams. I had 30 dreams, one night after another, when I was in Costa Rica in 2009. It started with one dream, and this figure by the name of Angelica, I think her name was. My God, could I possibly forget Angelica? Anyway, she said, "Would you please deliver a message for us to Earth people?" And I said, "What? What? Deliver a message?" And I said, "Why me?" All that stuff. And then she said, "Well, you're awake." I said, "Oh no, I'm not. I'm asleep and you're in my dream." That's basically what I said that night. Anyway, she said, I'll tell it to you in the form of a story. Don't talk about it, make a movie out of it. And that's what we're doing here. This movie is an incredibly inspirational story of the raising of human consciousness.
So Raymond, would you tell me the central message of the
the message.
movie?
Sure. The message is, by the way, I really believe in this message because I've been following that philosophy for some time. The message is, wake up. Remember that you are a spiritual being incarnated in this human body, having this amazing experience in this human body, and that love is the most powerful force in the universe. When you accept this, your quantum love gene that's been buried for 10,000 years, that's right, 10,000 years, will awaken. And this will, when this spreads throughout the universe, throughout the world, then the raising of the human consciousness to the third or fourth or fifth dimension will help us move through this black hole which is coming our way. And that's very exciting. So that's what this movie is all about.
Well, that is exciting. And Raymond, how was the love gene preserved for these 10,000 years?
Wow, good question, Glenda. At about 10, the Palladians landed here 26,000 years ago. That's what they tell me. At about 10,000 years ago, they pretty much lost and forgotten who they were because they came here with incredible powers, very advanced, 100,000 years ahead of us in advancement. But they began to lose their powers, and fear set in, and religions, etc., kind of took over. But before that actually happened, they had the wisdom to bury this quantum love gene in the consciousness of dolphins, of all things, in the dolphins, knowing that nobody would really look there, So that, and the dolphins, of course, in our time, are in the book and in my movie, do something really quite fantastic about that.
Well, I look forward to it. And Raymond, is this story mainly fantasy, or does it have some science in it?
Well, it has a little bit of both. It definitely has fantasy because who knows what Palladians are, or Pleiades. But it definitely has science. In 2003, I found out that an Italian astronomer discovered a black hole approaching the center of our galaxy. And that's been coming closer and closer according to the scientific community. That's one fact. But the most important, exciting part of that, Glenda, was in December 6, 2011, you might remember that little one. It only flashed once on the screen with CNN, and we discovered that the Kepler satellite telescope in space took some fascinating pictures of a planet which they called Kepler 22b. As it turns out, this planet is almost identical to Earth in many ways. The temperature is 23 degrees Celsius. It has water, and it is, but the most exciting part of it is that it's 600 light years from here in the Lyra system, where the home of the Palladians come from. Now, fancy that. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, that sounds like science is catching up with your fantasy.
Doesn't it always?
Showing it real. So Raymond, in closing, is there anything that you would like to say to Sandy's friends here?
First of all, thank you for taking the time to watch this video and read the information we sent you. We are very excited about this movie, and know that this movie is done in mind. It's done in the spiritual world. This three-dimensional world takes a little longer to catch up. So all the people, places, and circumstances come together to make all this happen. The law of attraction, etc. And if you're attracted to the concept, to the ideas, and if this resonates with you, at a deep consciousness level, then please come and play with us. Make this happen. Bring this movie.
This way we can help the power of love and the message of there is no separation to be taken to the world on a global level. Thank you.
Sorry about
And
that,
so it is.
I get a little bit broken up when I think about the fact that love is the most powerful force in the universe. And we can make this happen. Thank you. So it is.